in regards to her commitment, her consistency, her attendance, how hard she trains, her attitude. You know, I don't take on a lot of PT clients these days. I'm sort of on the tail end of my PT career. But Cassie is someone that I'll very happily train till either I cark it or she runs out of money or doesn't like me anymore or whatever. But guys, look, this is Cassie's first talk tonight. Please support her, okay? She's probably a little bit nervous now, okay? But Cassie's got a story that we can all take something from, you know what I mean? I love stories of people that are just like us. So even though Dave's story is awesome and he's a great speaker, he's got something very different to what we've had to go through. Cassie's got something that a lot of women in this building and in this place are going to relate to, or all of us are going to relate to, with the demons of weight loss, you know what I mean? I go through it, we all do, you know? So anyway, without much further ado, clap and
Am I loud enough?
No, I'm not loud enough.
Could I suggest you turn telephones on silent?
And guys, telephones on silent please as well. Or off.
Ooh. Okay. So we are going visual first.
Woohoo.
My name is Cassie, and I have had a weight problem all of my life. All of my adult life, actually. This is me at my biggest. This is 3.5 years ago. This is about 120 kilos. This is a 20 plus jeans. This is me now. So the story starts. For most of you who do not know, I am actually an adopted child. I was adopted at birth. My mother apparently was 16. My father apparently was a rock musician. So I was adopted into a family and I was 3 weeks old. I've always known that I was adopted and it hasn't been a major problem. I was not in an orphanage, I was with a family and they're middle income, nice family, from the outside. I found out later in my life that I was brought into the family because my father was concerned that my mother, who my brother is 10 years older than me, was starting to find a life outside of the home. Now she worked, she was a hairdresser, she was a really dedicated woman. She did everything at home. He would work, my father would go to work. My father was a very stern person. And later in my life I found out I was brought into the home. I was allowed to be adopted in because he wanted to keep her where she belonged in his mind. So I have had deep feelings of not belonging in this world. Now, I don't hold anything against my birth mum, but I do have problems, the fact that I wasn't wanted. To grow up in your life in a family where you're not in an orphanage, you're not beaten up, but mentally, you just don't feel you're worth it. So, my mum and my dad, they didn't last the distance. Thankfully, mum decided when I turned 17 that it was time. And I made it easy on her and I left home. So you go out into the world and you get asked these questions of yourself through people. You go to these seminars, you go and you find, and everyone says to you, what's your why? Put your hand up if anyone's ever asked you what your why is in this world. Keep it up if you could answer it. You're lucky. Because I've never known my why in this world. And that has created a depression that has come and gone since I was the age of 18. Because I honestly didn't think this world needed me. I didn't believe I had a why. So in my early 20s, because I was craving love, craving acceptance, I looked to men and other vices. I got into some bad relationships. I came off as a second woman. Won't go into details, but it was not a great time. I took to drinking, I took to escape. I took to eating. Eating's comfort. Eating made me feel good. I didn't love myself. Truth be told, and I can say it now, I hated the way I looked. I never felt I was pretty. I never felt that I was decent, and I felt that I had to work really hard to get someone to be interested in me. And that created a lot of problems in my life. So I used to think I was just, to be pretty, you've got to be thin. So I'd get thin. I'd get a guy, I'd lose a guy, I'd binge eat. I'd put on the weight, I'd lose it, and the cycle would go on. So then, thankfully in my life, I came across this man, who, funny enough, I met after a Manpower concert, but I am not going into any further details on that. That is my husband, who is sitting over here. And thankfully, he saw something that I never saw of me, and he's loved me unconditionally since my early 20s. We had a daughter fairly closely into our marriage. That was another funny story, because everyone had told us for years and years and years, well, not years and years, everyone had told us that it took years to fall pregnant. 3 weeks. Proved them wrong. We had a 2-year plan. 3 weeks later, all went out the window. And there came along this beautiful girl that's sitting here, and actually, I'm going to embarrass the shit out of her, because it is actually her 23rd birthday today. Oh, yeah. So, she came along, and as a new mum, with lots and lots of problems in my life, with lots of self-doubt, I took on a child. Hardest thing I've ever done is take on a child. I didn't bond very well as a mum. It has been a struggle. I really, really wanted to be able to show Caitlin that she had a loving family. Now, there's only 3 of us that we have in our family. But I wanted to make sure that she knew and didn't know what I'd grown up in. And I found that very, very difficult. And we've struggled, and I've struggled as a parent with a lot of things during her childhood, and unfortunately we have a love-hate relationship at times. But yeah, I had a job where I could manage 100 rental properties, but I couldn't manage this one little thing over here. She wasn't a difficult child. She was just very demanding. And it's something that, because I had no self-worth, I couldn't get over my insecurities a lot of the time. And you find depression but she was always very wanted. She's very, very loved. So, when you get depressed, you go through anxiety, you have total lack of confidence, and I would find solace in my bedroom. I would work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Something that I could escape and do. I would then go home and I would go into my bedroom and I would sit in there and I would eat and watch TV with the dark, real dark thoughts in my head. Certainly wasn't pleasant. No, some of those thoughts are pretty awful. So I would sit there and I would eat a packet of chips, and at some time in my life I would actually I'd actually go into the kitchen and I'd make chocolate icing from scratch just to take the bowl in and eat the whole lot. And these are all to escape from what was in my mind. Depression may not be what's reality out there, but it's real for you. And all those emotions that you feel. 10 years ago, actually it's a bit more than 10 years ago, my sister-in-law had cancer. Now, my sister-in-law was a very positive, very beautiful woman. She has 2 lovely children to my brother, and they had the world ahead of them, and at the age of 44, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. We went through treatment, she went through treatment. We had 3 months where she was given the all clear. 3 months after that, our lives changed forever. She was told she had developed a secondary cancer that was terminal. No operation could be done. There was a 17% chance of her survival. My brother broke. And it broke my heart to hear him. He's always been my confidant through life. When I didn't have my father, he was always there to step in. So for me, to see him this broken was really, really hard to handle. Unfortunately, we went up to Noosa where they live for our one last Christmas as a family. My sister-in-law almost passed away at 9 a.m. that morning on Christmas. She held on until 3 o'clock that afternoon because she was not going to die on Christmas. She was not going to leave her kids with that. So at 3 o'clock that afternoon, they took her to hospital and we were called in the following morning to the intensive care. By the time we got there, she was already in coma. Now, I walked into that room and that image has stayed with me for the rest of my life. It's nothing worse in this world than seeing a 6'4" man standing in the corner trying to put on a brave face for 2 children who are watching their mother pass away in front of them. After we lost Corinne, and this is hard for me to actually admit, especially with my daughter and husband here, because they have not heard this before today. I have 4 years since her passing wished it was me. She had everything to live for. She had 2 beautiful children. She had a husband who loved her dearly. They had their business. They had everything. And in my mind, I had nothing to offer anyone. And that is no reflection of those 2 people sitting over there because they've given because of them that I felt that way. It was because of a deep, deep and dark depression. I have so wished that it was for me, that I could have taken her place, because no one would have come to my funeral, no one would have missed me. I'm happy to say today I don't think that way. So, food was my friend. I closed myself off from everybody and everything, and I'd find excuses not to go out to events or to see my friends. And slowly but surely most of them pitted off, because you don't like to be that person who always is the downer. You tend to find that people don't stick around. One of my very close friends knew that I wasn't happy. She knew I was in a bad way. And without pressure, she sent me a Facebook link one day. And that was something she said, just consider this. And it was to enter a competition to transform me. It was an 8-week challenge with a trainer. And she was taking 2 winners. The condition was that you actually had to write her a letter and tell her why and what she could do for you. Now I'm actually going to read the actual letter. So, this was my letter. After a couple of days, I sat down. Since late teenage years, I've struggled with my weight, depression, and all that goes with it. I've grown up with a mother who was so weight obsessed and has told me time and time that she worries for my own good about how big I am and how I would be so much happier smaller, just like I was before. Yes, I know that would give me confidence and happiness to be thin, but being constantly reminded that I'm nothing but my weight has weighed in on my life. I have been on most diets. Jenny Craig. Again, my mother bought me that lifetime membership to Jenny Craig so that I could be thin for my wedding. Weight Watchers, soup diets, Lebanese, weight loss drops, shakes, gyms. The one thing that all of that never taught me is how to enjoy life, food, and still remain thin and healthy. I suffer from emotional eating. When it comes to exercise, I don't like it. I won't lie to you, it's hard, it hurts in so many places. Running causes me breathing issues and pain in my legs and knees, and I'm shamefully not an active person and need constant motivation. Why I need you? Roll on 3 more years and I'm at my absolute biggest. Now I'm over 116 kilos. I think at that time I was actually closer to 120. But as women, who always budges their weight? I have a severe vitamin D deficiency and find that taking supplements makes me even more tired than normal. I have pains in my shoulders, my legs, my ankles, knees, back and hips. To walk up our driveway even gives me short of breath. And after being on a 3-hour photo shoot, my body was so much in agony that I ended up needing rest for a couple of hours. Most of the time I work in an office and sit down for the majority of the day. I find my quality of life is such that when on outings with friends I'm tired and I am unable to walk long distances. If I wear skirts, I must wear gym pants, as my inner thighs rub so much together that I can't wear pants at all. I'm ashamed to also admit that I have sinus pain and pain that I am actually addicted to painkillers. I take at least 4 Nurofen Plus every day, some days 8 depending on the migraine. How I hope to benefit. I hope that you will give me back my life. I want to be healthy, happy and be able to enjoy life without the trouble of breathing or pain. I hope to lose 30 kilos and set myself up to be able to continue to lose the excess weight. that I've gained. I want to be comfortable within my body and myself. I want to be able to find a lifestyle that I can continue with that gives me joy. I also want to be able to live without painkillers damaging my body and the dependence I have on them. What difference? Your help will give me that motivation that I do not have within myself. Your help will change my way of thinking and my lifestyle. Your help will change my life. And that letter got me the ticket in. So I was one of 2 winners into an 8-week challenge. So I signed up. Oh my God, what have I done? Okay, so turn up on the first day. Right, warm up, let's go. Running. 120 kilos, run down that hill. Are you kidding me? Anyway, so then the next thing was the eating plan. Protein shakes, cucumbers in my shake. Are you kidding me? Baby spinach. Now you're really kidding me. Anyway, jokes aside, I had a determination to see it through. So with a few alterations through that 8-week challenge, I got to the other end. I will even be proud to say that I even drank black coffee. No sugar. I think that was the hardest thing. So I made it through the 8 weeks and the results were pretty good. So I'd lost quite a few centimetres, lost, I think it was around 5 kilos. I don't have the actual stats on me. So that was the journey. So that's where it all started to turn around. So you'd think that's enough to keep you going, right? No. Life gets in the way. So you go through it and then you decide, no, I can do this on my own now. I'm right, I got this. Not a problem. So I gave up the gym, bought myself a Fitbit, thought, yeah, I can do this. No. Slowly but surely I went back to my old behaviours. I didn't exercise. I started to find nice things to eat again. Too many nice things to eat again. So, did that for another probably 8-9 months. Now I'm the type of stubborn that the universe decides, okay, you don't have kids. So the universe decides at that time that they're going to hit me on the head, nice and hard, like Thor with his hammer, bang, straight on the head. I got the flu virus after flu virus that particular year. One morning after getting that virus, I woke up. I couldn't move the left side of my face. I couldn't smile. My eye had dropped. So we went off to the doctor. Doctor took one look at me and said, interesting. I think you better go to Rebecca Hospital. And I'm like, what? What? What's going on? Thankfully, and we thought at the time that it wasn't a stroke. But what I did end up having is Bell's palsy. Thankfully, it was a mild case. And we caught it early. The funny thing is I didn't think I was a vain person. Till you can't move your face. Till you can't smile. Couldn't pick up a camera at that point. So that really is when things turned right around for me. Because that is when I knew that the secret is to a long life is a healthy life. So you have to balance. You've got to get yourself healthy. because otherwise you're going to find yourself with illnesses that are possibly preventable. So, you get to a point then that you've got to then do the inner work. You've really got to work on not only your food and everything, but you've got to work on that inner you. So, the first thing I would recommend is you've got to find yourself gratefulness. So, this little book I have here, 365 Gratefuls. This is a lady who went through depression, and she was a photographer. And she went to a priest, and he told her to go and do 360, go and find something grateful every day. So that's what I started to practice. I do mine through my Instagram. I do it for no one else but me. My family has, when I say my family, my brother has a joke with me all the time. You put your whole life on Facebook or Instagram. It's not for anyone else, it's for me. It's to keep me going. So, that is it. You've got to find something that you're grateful for every day. And let me tell you, that's not an easy feat at the beginning. You start off by superficial things. I'm grateful for this cup of coffee. I'm grateful just to get up in the morning. I'm grateful to have come home and not had to do burpees today. Sorry, So, that is the first thing, and I'm happy to tell you that it does get easy over time. It gets easier over time to find true gratefulness every single day. So about 18 months ago, we get to my old trainer, who was thankfully given an opportunity to merge in with Beyond. And that's really when things started to change. Because by that point I'd lost about 10 kilos. So the next thing you've got to do is find an activity that you really love to do. Because there is no point, you are not going to stick with it if all you are doing is stuff in exercise that you just don't like. For me, I love to hit and kick. One day I'm going to make him pay. That's a personal goal.
And I want the camera out.
Yep, that's a personal goal.
Make him do burpees.
No, I don't want him to do burpees. No, I don't want him to do burpees. After a personal training session, I want Shane to feel pain. And I want to be the one that would caused it.
Train the trainers, I reckon.
Yeah.
No,
That's just a little personal goal.
That's me any day you want, right, Cassie?
Thank you. So yeah, that's the thing. You've got to find something that you really love. So yeah, I box, I kickbox. I now do all the other stuff because what I've found is that the boxing and the kickboxing has now started to get the weight off. It's changed my body. So when you're 100 kilos and someone asks you to do burpees or mountain climbers, it's not so bad. So you've got to find the exercise that you like to do and stick with it. So that's number 2. We get to number 3. You need your guidance and support. So you need to find your tribe. One of the biggest things for me, one of my biggest fears, was letting go of people in my life that I thought were friends, and the fear of being left alone. But what happens is when you start to make these changes, you attract different people. And then you've got some who are just gorgeous and stay with you. Thank you, Miss Karen. So you find you find your tribe. So once you actually close the door on those negative people, you'll be surprised at what happens. I know I was. I found my family here. And that's a very, very important part of keeping yourself positive. So the next one is a big one. You gotta love yourself. You gotta find how to love yourself. And that one definitely doesn't happen overnight. I'm happy to say that I've got to a point where I've been able to look in the mirror and I like the way my back looks. I like the way my legs look. I'm starting to get shape back here. And I love it. And then you turn around and you go, oh crap, I actually love myself. Damn. It's a good feeling. So once you've got those four going for you, you get to your number 5. And your number 5 is your commitment. And that's not a commitment to anyone else but yourself. Because at the end of the day, each and every person is worth it. And you've got to dig deep and you've got to find that. And the commitment comes. So exercise is about 20%, food's about 80%, your commitment's 100%. And that's what's got me to today. That's what's got 30 kilos off me. So your five main things that I personally believe is your daily attitude. Find the activity that you like or love and immerse yourself into it. Find your tribe, find your true tribe and your support network. Because there will be days and months, well not months, there will be days and weeks where you're really not feeling it. You really want that donut. And it's those people that's going to help you remember what you want to do, where you're going. Make mini goals as well along your way. Don't just give yourself a big picture. Set smaller goals. And reward yourself when those goals happen. Buy something small. Have it there. Display it proudly. Love and self-worth. Sad but true. You've got to find it. You've got to do the hard work. Because what I've found is that until you find love and self-worth, you will continue on the merry-go-round of weight loss and weight gain. And then your commitment. Your commitment is what keeps you going, keeps you looking at that end goal. The commitment is what gets that 30 kilos off. And then you learn to live a different way that's just as good as the other way. Maybe even better. So I wrote this little thing. I finally found my why. Never want another person to feel the way that I've felt for many years of my life. It's not worth missing out on living, loving and happiness. Definitely not. To wake up every day filled with purpose, inspiring others, is just the most awesome feeling one can have. And it's worth holding on to and exploring that every single day. Thank you. That's my job. Has anyone got any questions they want answered? Yeah,
First of all, congrats on getting up there and being so courageous,
thank you.
sharing your story. Second, I guess my question is, can you still enjoy like those desserts that you used to?
Yeah.
Guilt free?
Yeah, do you want to think about
No,
that?
I've got, yes,
I was going to hang them up. No.
yeah.
And what changed then in your head? How can you enjoy them now? Why don't you feel that guilt?
Because I've learnt balance. I train 4 to 5 days a week. So what I do is I stay on plan at least 80% of my time. So you're allowed that cheat meal,
Yeah.
or you're allowed that, you can't deprive yourself of something for the rest of your life, because that's when you're going to binge it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to work in how you can have these things in moderation and to enjoy it, not feel guilty about it, because that's what I used to do. I used to feel guilty if I sat there and ate a chocolate cake or whatever. So now I know that as long as I plan my week that I'm going to train, if there's an event coming up or if I want to have something on a weekend or a special occasion, I do. But the key to that is the next morning, you go straight back to your meal plan.
Mm. Thanks.
You can tell it's been drummed in, can't you? Anyone else?
Cassie,
Yeah.
so as a personal trainer, one of my all-time highest frustrations is getting my clients to do things that we ask them to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Memma and Brendan, especially Memma now that she does nutrition, please understand. What's the advice you give to, because probably everyone in this room has been where you were, okay, whether male, female, whatever, we've all had, problems that way. What's the advice you give to people to implicate coaching that they get given? Because you're very coachable. So the reason why we're still working together is you're coachable. People don't laugh at me that aren't coachable and aren't willing to be held accountable to clients. I'm just like, I'm not the right trainer for you. So what advice would you give to people? Because the number one problem we have as trainers, as PTs, and Brendan will back me up on this, remember, is getting our clients to do the right things. Okay? Because they pay us for advice, we give it to them and they don't do it. So it's a vicious wheel that generally goes around. What advice would you give to everyone in the room for how to implement for the advice they ask for and give?
It comes back to my 5. It comes back to the mental work that you have to do. Like, if you're willing to pay a trainer to train you, why don't you come and be trained and then go home and undo it all? At the core of it is your goal. I hate to say it, but no trainer, no one's going to be able to change you until you do it yourself. And that's the difference in me. I've had personal trainers before Shane, and I've joined gyms, but half the time you go there, you do what's necessary, and then you go home and, I don't know, have a Jack Daniels or whatever. Like, the way to do it is you've got to show that commitment. And sometimes your trainers can get that through to you, but at the core of it, you've really got to have that in yourself. At the end of the day, you've got to be accountable to you.
I've got a question. Can I say something then?
Sure.
I'm like a little bit more than a newbie now.
Part of furniture now, Barbie.
But I actually say the reason, and I come from a long way, I come from right up the other end of the coast. I come back because of the group here and the trainers.
Absolutely.
I feel part of it.
Yeah.
When I first came, it was hard for me because I was training before that one-on-one. So I wasn't in a group, and I've been to big gyms where and I didn't really like it. But yeah, I just find that it's the caring that they give you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I get a bit of vertigo and stuff like that. And these two guys, Ben's there and Brendan's there, and they're always aware of that. And they're watching, like it is a big group, but they're aware that, I can get up too quick sometimes,
Yeah.
And Brendan will just say, Barry, go over there,
thing. We are very fortunate with Beyond, and all the trainers here are really caring, and that's one of the reasons why I think I found my home here and why I enjoy exercise, is because at the back end of what I need to do for me, I've got 4 or 5 people that are gunning to give us the success and to make sure we do it in a healthy way and take care of us. So yeah, that's a definite
And
valid.
motivation is that the trainings are very committed.
Very,
You've got a whole lot of them.
yeah.
Shame I'm kicking up. But
They're well drilled.
So I've just got a question. As a sufferer from depression, how do you find, or how did you get your true grit, I guess, is to actually drag yourself out of that hole? To finally get to that stage where you feel, right, this is me now, and this is my focus, and this is how you've kept control and not allowed that depression to control you, to go back into that hole.
I have days where I still go bad, but what I've done is I've done a lot of exercises, and through challenges that I've done, and I think I'm up to challenge number, 6 or 7 now?
I've lost count.
I've lost count. But during that time, the challenges have given us exercises to work on our mentalness, our mental state. And at the core of that, I've had to write down some pretty dark things and then come up with some nice things. So it's a really hard thing because depression is so personal to each and every person. To be able to get yourself out of it, you've got to find self-love somehow. You've got to get to the why of the depression. And as hard as it sounds, is sometimes, and I'm not saying this personally at you, but we have a victim mentality.
Yeah.
So I loved playing my victim. It kept me in my comfort zone. It kept me from having to be accountable to being overweight, unhealthy, and very sick. So, to actually finally let go of the victim mentality, I've taken up a lot of reading. I've gone to books. One of the books that I've actually bought tonight helped me a lot. Is You Can Change Your Life, You Can Heal Your Life, Louise Hay.
So your challenges daily, do you focus on a daily challenge? Like at first, did you have a daily challenge where you say, okay, today I'm going to get up and make my bed, or today I'm going to? Is that how you started your day?
Today, how I
mind?
started was finding something grateful every day.
Yeah.
So getting up, going about my day, and actually sitting down and finding something to be grateful for. Meditating was another thing. So it's just finding what works for you.
Yeah.
And I read many books on it. I've seen professional help over my time. But for me personally, it was finding the grateful every day and the little steps every day help. And when I joined Beyond, I found a different vibe and people that I was actually able to connect with, and that in itself brought up my self-worth. I found like-minded people, and I started to actually make myself be social.
Good for you.
Small steps every day,
Yeah, no, good. Yeah,
and it gets easier.
yeah, I agree. I just, sometimes you just go back, and it's just hard to get back.
Yeah, look,
You go back and you just find yourself trying to get out again.
yeah,
So yeah.
I've had many incidences over the last 18 months where I still go back. Thankfully, it doesn't last as long
Yeah.
because I've just got books and people that I can go and sit down and talk to. And that's part of finding my tribe. I've now got the right people that when I'm getting to that point, I know I can pick up the phone or go and have a coffee, or come to the gym, and that helps get me back out and get me controlled again.
Maybe I should come and have a chat.
I'd love to. And that goes to anyone. If anyone wants to have a coffee or sit down and have a chat, I'm happy to hear and listen to anybody. Anyone ever goes through a hard time, give me a text. I'm here.
See her before she goes professional.
Get in before she goes big.
Yeah, we knew her
You'll be
first.
charging her.
No. No. But seriously, you want to go and grab a coffee? Let me know.
Yeah, no worries, I will.
Anyone else?
I have a coffee. No. You better get that.
Yeah, I
coffee
think
ready.
you still owe me one chat.
No, he's actually got one through the reception for me, so it's all good.
Cassie's coffee.
Coffee with Cassie,
Coffee
coaching
with
program.
Cass.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so
Black with no sugar.
no, I can't do black. That's my one vice. I've turned around over the time. I train hard. I have decent latte, but I have no sugar.
I have to say, I've been vegan for small and all the rest of it. I got up to 110 kilos at one stage, 5 foot 2, that's a lot. But when I actually did get it off, and I actually trained myself to have black coffee over a period of time, I got myself to have such a fine thing that I couldn't have milk, it used to make me sick. And I could actually, if I had a slice of bread, I could taste the sugar in the drink.
Yeah.
It gets so fine.
Yeah.
You actually really get really healthy.
You do. Actually, I will never forget the first time I ordered pancakes with maple syrup after an 8-week challenge. I think I got 2 bites into it. That was it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it at all. Anyone else?
I
Okay.
just like pancakes now, but thanks for that.
So Cassie, real quick, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's
Thank
amazing.
you.
No,
Thank
thanks. If you will indulge me for a minute, you will notice that my lovely husband Ben has not actually been a part of this speech. My daughter was so funny the other night when she actually sat down and read it. She said, I get a whole paragraph, Dad gets nothing. The reason for that is he is the true one, wonderful in my life. We've had 25 plus years together, and that man has supported me through everything and anything, and I love him dearly. And the only reason he's not in the speech is because he is that greatness. Finally, thank you to Beyond for allowing me this platform. This has been a little dream and a goal for me to actually step in.
You're going to have to pay you next time, Cassie.
Oh, yes! This has been a dream of mine to actually get into speaking. Dave, Jazzy, who've helped me through the process of the last 3 weeks when I put my foot in and said, yeah, why the hell not? My husband and Shane for allowing me the platform. And to everyone, I am grateful and I thank you all.